Uncharted Waters. Martin Cole, a marine archaeologist with an insatiable appetite for discovery, had long been fascinated by the ancient maritime routes that connected civilizations. His obsession, the Galleon of Dorados, an infamous ship that, according to legend, vanished without a trace in the 17th century while transporting a treasure from the Americas to Europe. One chilly evening, Martin received a package at his Cambridge residence. It contained an old, wrinkled map with an unfamiliar route highlighted, accompanied by a note, "For the one who dares to tread uncharted waters." Certain that this was a clue to the Dorados' whereabouts, Martin assembled a team of experts. Joining him were Carla, a naval historian, Raj, a geospatial analyst, and Anna, a diving expert. They set sail on the Pegasus, a state-of-the-art research vessel. Following the map, they navigated through perilous seas and treacherous weather. Along the way, the team encountered remnants of old shipwrecks, underwater caves, and even a potentially hostile submarine tracking their movements. After weeks of searching, they arrived at a remote archipelago. Anna's sonar equipment detected a massive structure beneath. Diving down, they were met with an awe-inspiring sight. An incredibly well-preserved shipwreck adorned with golden trinkets, the Galleon of Dorados. As they began documenting and retrieving artifacts, Martin noticed a sealed chamber within the ship. Inside, they discovered not gold or jewels, but ancient manuscripts detailing diplomatic ties and trades between forgotten kingdoms. The real treasure was knowledge, revealing the interconnectedness of ancient cultures. The discovery was monumental. Museums and institutions worldwide vied to display the artifacts. But for Martin and his team, the real reward was the journey itself, the pursuit of knowledge, and the understanding that sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't tangible. Back at Cambridge, Martin placed the old map and note in a frame in his office. It served as a reminder that in life and academia, sometimes one must dare to navigate uncharted waters in the quest for discovery. Mirage of the Heart. In the busy streets of Marrakesh, among the maze-like markets and vibrant stalls, there was a legend whispered among the locals. They spoke of a mirage, not of the desert, but of the heart. Nadia, an astute businesswoman and owner of a prominent rug store, had always been too practical to believe in such tales. Her life revolved around weaving stories into her rugs, not chasing phantoms of the heart. That was until she met Jamil. Jamil, a wandering musician with eyes that seemed to carry the depth of the Sahara, entered Nadia's shop on a sweltering afternoon. As he strummed his oud, the notes intertwined with the patterns on the rugs, making them come alive. Nadia found herself entranced, not just by the music, but by the musician himself. They began to meet more frequently, sharing tales of adventures and dreams yet to be realized. As the days passed, their connection deepened. But Jamil, always with a hint of sadness in his eyes, often gazed into the distance, as if searching for something elusive. One evening, as they sat on the rooftop, overlooking the Jama el Fnaa square, Jamil shared his secret. He spoke of the mirage of the heart, a love so intense and yet so fleeting, that it could only be felt in moments. He confessed that while his heart yearned for Nadia, the mirage called him to chase it, always leading him from one place to another, never allowing him to settle. Torn between a desire to stay with Nadia and the pull of the mirage, Jamil faced an agonizing decision. The pain of this duality reflected in his music, making it even more haunting. Months passed, and one day Jamil disappeared, leaving behind only his oud and a note for Nadia. It read, "In search of the mirage, I realized it was never about finding it. It was about the journey and the souls we touch along the way. You are my heart's true mirage. But I must continue my quest, heartbroken yet understanding." Nadia resumed her life, but every rug she wove thereafter carried a hint of her love story, a pattern symbolizing a journey of the heart, and a musician forever chasing his mirage. The tale became a part of the city's lore, a testament to the complexities of love and the mysteries of the heart's desires. The Clockwork's melody. In the quaint town of Harrowsfield, the most enchanting sound wasn't from birds or the church bells, it was from Mr. Bennett's clock shop. Every hour, a melodious tune would fill the air, captivating all who heard it. Mr. Bennett was a tall, thin man with silver hair and glasses that magnified his keen eyes. He was passionate about clockmaking, but one clock stood out from the rest, a large, ornate grandfather clock that took center stage in his shop. One day, a young girl named Clara entered, drawn by the clock's melody. "Why does this clock sound so different, Mr. Bennett?" she asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. He smiled. "Ah, this isn't just any clock, Clara. It contains a special mechanism from a time long past, designed by my great-grandfather. It's said to contain the very essence of time." Clara listened intently, her imagination running wild. "Can I hear its tune up close, Mr. Bennett?" nodded and opened the clock's door. As Clara leaned in, she didn't just hear the melody, she felt it, as if the clock was whispering secrets of ages past. Weeks turned into months, and Clara's visits became frequent. She'd sit, listening, sometimes even dancing to the clock's tune. It became their little ritual. However, one day, the clock fell silent. Clara, worried, rushed to the shop. Mr. Bennett, looking older and more fragile, was trying to fix it. "The mechanism. It's old. I fear its melody might be lost forever," he said, a hint of sadness in his voice. Clara, determined, began assisting him. They worked tirelessly, using old manuals and tools. Hours turned into days. And then, just when hope seemed lost, the familiar tune began to play, filling the shop with its mesmerizing notes. Tears filled Mr. Bennett's eyes. "You've done it, Clara," he whispered. "You've given the clock, and me, a little more time." From that day, the town not only had its melody back but a new clockmaker apprentice in Clara, ensuring that the Clockwork's melody would continue for generations to come. Tales from the Ember Inn. Tucked away in a forgotten corner of Ellington town was the Ember Inn, an old establishment known for its rustic charm, warm fires, and, more importantly, its tales. Locals and travelers alike would congregate in its cozy confines, especially on stormy nights, to share stories, some true, some imagined. The innkeeper, Mrs. Morrible, was a stout woman with twinkling eyes, always ready to share a tale or two. But what most didn't know was that she kept a special book, wherein she wrote down the most captivating tales told at her inn. One evening, as thunder rumbled and rain poured, a stranger clad in a hooded cloak entered the inn. He took a seat by the fire, ordered a drink, and began his tale. "I come from the distant land of Aria," he began. "In Aria, there's a mountain that hides a city made entirely of gold. But this city is cursed. Anyone who attempts to steal its treasures is turned to stone." The inn's patrons listened with bated breath. Some dismissed it as fantasy, but young Tom, an adventurous lad, was captivated. He approached the stranger after the tale. "Is it real?" Tom asked, eyes wide. The stranger merely smiled, placing a golden coin in Tom's hand. "See for yourself," he whispered, then vanished into the night. Driven by curiosity, Tom set out on a journey to Aria. It was perilous, filled with trials and challenges. But eventually, he found the Golden City. True to the tale, it was magnificent, but the statues of men, forever frozen, served as a haunting reminder of the curse. Remembering the stranger's words, Tom took nothing but left a note of thanks for the city's wonders. Returning home, he shared his adventures at the Ember Inn. Mrs. Morrible, deeply moved by his tale, gave it a special place in her book. And so, the tales at the Ember Inn grew, each storyteller adding a thread to the ever-evolving tapestry of stories. Some came for the warmth, some for drinks, but all stayed for the tales that would be passed down for generations, ensuring that the Ember Inn would never be forgotten.